Welcome back to Behavioral Finance and FinTech. I'm Andy Kim. We are talking about the short selling, right? One of the questions that I want to address over here is why do people have such a negative or bad image about the short sellers? Public opinion, especially in Korea, right? Every now and then, the picture that I can imagine about the short sellers as I read the news articles and the replies, it's like Zerg in the StarCraft, or demons, or Diablos. Whereas the individual investors like you and me are angels, only, the ants that are, patsy and then not knowing what to do and always get sucked up. And then every now and then, those CEOs like Elon Musk or Seo of Celltrion complain about this, short sellers, and they're bad price manipulators and all bad words to them. Why is a question. In the only guys, the only group of people who say something good about short sellers seem to be finance professors who really learned about finance, right? In theory, at least, right? And the absolute majority, we don't know what they are thinking about, but they are driven by this public, news media. Even though they are smart, maybe they keep silence, right? Irresponsibly, perhaps. But why is this public media talking negatively about these short sellers? Here's my thoughts over here. CEO, let's look at Seo or Elon Musk. What do they got? They have incentives. I told you in the first week or two, the economic incentive is a driver of human behavior, according to economists, right? So what's the economic incentive the CEO has? Stock options and stock ownership of that company that he owns or she owns. It's a way of resolving agency problem. Now, efficient market hypothesis was important, right? Because only when the EMH holds, this incentive works, so that the information that the CEO is working hard get priced, and then with that, he gets compensated, she gets compensated rich, so that he would be happy, shareholders would be happy, incentive alignment would occur, right? Would take place successfully. That is when the EMH is holding. But that's not the only way. Okay, working hard is not the only way the CEO gets happy with this stock price. How could the stock price get up high without working hard? That's when the EMH breaks down and then the bubble takes place. So if the market is not efficient and then the bubble can happen, especially for my company, I would not work hard. I would just wish all those bubbles take place and it never dies. The trouble is there are bubble killers called short sellers. So CEOs have every reason to hate those short sellers, right? Imagine your bonus amount, right? Monthly bonus gets decreased by 10만 원, $100, right? You will be pissed off and then try to kill all those people who try to reduce your bonus like crazy. 10만 원, $100 worth. For the CEO, it's like $100 million or $100,000, right? Disappearing because of the short sellers. Their job is just to make it, hammering out those bubbles so that it will correctly reflect the reality, the information, so that the price will go up only when you work your ass off, right? Would you like those the short sellers? Clearly not, right? That's your selfish interest, right? That the CEOs will have to hate those guys. Now, think about those journalists, okay, who is writing in the media. Umit Gurun had a paper that says, the journalist slant, right, to say something good about the company only if, when those companies pay the advertisement expense, right, advertisement money to the journalist company, right? So journalists They look at the CEO of their customer. Oh my God, I want to say something good about you, and so that you will pay me the advertisement expenses. Yes. So would the journalists say something good about the short sellers, or and then piss off the CEO, or would they say something bad about the short sellers and please the CEO? Oh, CEO, you are the freedom fighter, and then the fighter against the bad short sellers, and then the short sellers are demons and the diablos who screw up not only you but also all those poor ants or individual investors. They will do it like this. Now, the third party that we have to think about is PR division of the companies, the CEO's PR division subordinates, right? What would they do to influence the journalist, right? They are the guys directing the journalist to say this and say that, and they are the actual payers, right? Deliverer of the money. They will say something. They will want this journalist to write something bad about the short sellers only, nothing good about them. And they have the labor forces, internships or whatever. Hire them and then tell them to do what? Influence the social media and then say something bad about the short sellers. And one of the ways they could do is like manipulating those replies. 악플 달기, like 기배. Oh, short sellers are terrible guys, and then anybody like Andy Kim saying something good about the short sellers, say something bad words to those professors, like all kinds of insults. That's what they could do. They have the incentive, economic incentive. All those economic incentives are against short sellers, and they are working diligently for the sake of the CEOs. And then, lastly, individual investors, they have overconfidence, right? Yeah, we are overconfident on average. And then, which one would they prefer, right? Individual investors. The stock price. Let's say there is no fundamental information arriving or announced, right? Like DI Corp. No information is announced over a year. And then, if that is the case, the true value is, let's say, over here in the close to the yellow line. It doesn't change. If the short selling is allowed, then the price will be close to this fundamental value. It will not deviate too much, right? If the bubble try to take place, then the short sellers will hammer it out so that the bubble disappears. Bubble killers will be there. Now, yellow line versus red line is the situation. Short sale is banned, is forbidden. Then the price will deviate from the fundamentals like wildly, and the bubble takes place and crashes sometimes immediately, abruptly, at random time, right? What's the frequency? We don't know. At random time, it will happen. Only afterwards, you will realize, oh, that was a peak. And only afterwards, you will realize, oh, that was a trough, right? Like that. Which pattern, price pattern would you prefer? Other things being equal. Most probably, you would prefer the red line pattern. Why? Because you are overconfident. And you are overconfident about yourself. Oh, I am a genius in market timing, right? So that I will be able to buy at this point and then sell it at that point. It's much more fun than this one. It's so dull. Why do you need this one? I'll be like this and then sell it at that point, and then buy it back again and then make money and sell it and wait and then buy like this. I'm going to be a millionaire, a billionaire like that. You're overconfident, right? It could be you that you happen to buy it at this point and then sell at that point and lose money like crazy again and again. But that kind of possibility is out of your picture. That's your story, right? Never in my life. You believe in this way. We call it overconfidence. Everything points against the short sellers. So that's why public news media, right, are against the short sellers. But the thing is, we realize every now and then again, these short sellers do the right thing. What do you see over here? Citron Research they wrote a short selling report for Hengda Evergrande of China, 2012. And now you see what happens, right? After 9 years. So that's the value of short sellers that we need, right? Necessary evil, if you want to name it. But that's the reality. So thanks for watching and see you later. Bye bye.